Before becoming one of the UFC's elite-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighters, Gilbert Durinho Burns was one of the most accomplished Jiu-Jitsu athletes in the world. With wins over some of the biggest names in the sport and an action-packed, aggressive, fast-paced style, Durinho has become a fan favorite in both the grappling and mixed martial arts worlds. In Jiu-Jitsu, Gilbert was renowned for having some of the fastest passing and back takes in the game, and in MMA, he continues to reinvent himself as a true mixed martial artist with constant improvement in his wrestling and striking skills. Durinho is a rare breed of athlete, not afraid to take on any opponent in MMA and still actively competing in grappling events in the gi and without at the highest level. Gilbert's jiu-jitsu journey began in Niterói and truly took off when he eventually moved to the small city of Rio Claro, where he studied under the tutelage of Professor Ramon Lemos, one of the founders of Atos Jiu Jitsu. In the early years at Atos, Durinho, together with Lemos, Andre Galvão, the Mendes brothers, and others, cultivated their jiu-jitsu, utilizing a combined team effort of analyzing and sharing knowledge and the studying of techniques with a huge emphasis on technical drilling. Not only was Gilbert a part of the inception of the Atos team, he was an integral part of a revolutionary position in the sport, the 50-50 guard. The position was not necessarily invented by Gilbert, however Gilbert was one of the ones who started to utilize it more frequently in competitions. One of the most integral times Gilbert used it to really spark the fire of the trend was in a match between longtime rival and Alliance Jiu-Jitsu standout Michael Langhi, in order to prevent Langhi's spectacular guard passing and at the advice of his Atos teammates. The technique worked. Gilbert won, and the team continued to implement and evolve the position throughout different competitions, beginning a huge trend in the sport. The position actually initiated a series of videos between Alliance and Atos showing counters and variations to it as the team rivalry grew over the years. Not only is Durinho regarded as a 50-50 guard innovator, he has one of the most well-rounded games in grappling. From lightning-fast takedowns and takedown counters, to multi-directional passing pressure, a super aggressive submission hunter, and one of the best scramblers in the game. Some of Gilbert's most recognized accomplishments include gold medals at the IBJJF World Gi and No Gi competitions, the Abu Dhabi World Pro, and many more. With a who's who of victories over many of the sport's greatest, including Lucas Lepri, Lucas Leite, JT Torres, Leandro Lo, Kron Gracie, Johnny Grippo, AJ Agazarm, and Sergio Moraes. After winning the IBJJF World's Golds in 2011, defeating Kron Gracie in the finals, which was a rematch from the BJJ Pro Cup in Italy, Durinho announced his intention to transition to MMA. His announcement led him to be mentored by none other than the UFC legend Vitor Belfort. Burns had 7 MMA matches and a stint on the Ultimate Fighter Brazil show as Team Belfort's jiu-jitsu coach, and was eventually signed by the UFC, where he made his pro debut against Andreas Stahl, winning a unanimous decision. As Gilbert's career in the UFC progressed, his confidence grew, and so did his abilities as he racked up an impressive 10-3 record with 4 wins by submission and 2 by knockout. Never afraid of any challenge and always willing to step up in a moment's notice to fight, Gilbert Durinho Burns is on his way to becoming one of the greatest combat athletes of all time.